Over the last several days, we have been talking about getting rid of the junk in our lives, not only physically, but more importantly, spiritually. That we need to remove the junk. We need to remove those things in our lives that are hindering us from doing what God has called us to do, to walk in that walk, to run in the race with great efficiency so that we might gain the prize. Yesterday we looked at learning to discipline our lives, and learning to discipline is hard. Discipline is not easy because you have to train yourself in order to be disciplined, in order to know what to say yes to and say yes to that, and also to know what to say no to. When we look at our physical bodies, we need to exercise, and we also need to avoid the junk food and the things that's going to harm us physically, but we also need to do what is positive. In Proverbs chapter 4, back to verse 14 and 15, it talks about avoiding the path of the wicked. And in verse 15 it says, avoid it, don't get on it, don't go down that path, stay away from it, turn away from it. Avoid it. Part of discipline is knowing what to avoid and avoiding it. One of the hardest things that I have to deal with is avoiding something that is readily available. I have been avoiding sugar in my diet and reducing the sugar in my diet to lower my blood sugar. And it's easy when there's no sugar in the house, but when there's sugar and there's candy and there's cookies and there's cake, it makes it much more difficult. When it's sitting on the counter and you walk by and you see a chocolate Reese cup, a little small one, the little ones, the first thing you attempt to do is pick it up and eat it. Because why? It is so available. We need to learn to avoid the areas in our life, the places that is going to cause us to fall into sin, that's going to drag us down and keep us from doing what God's called us to do. Part of discipline is knowing where to go and where not to go, who to stay around and who to avoid. And there are areas we need to avoid, and there might be times that there are people that we need to avoid because all they're going to do is bring junk in our lives. Discipline is learning to say no and doing it. So don't stay near it. Don't bring it right next door. Don't bring it in the home. Avoid it altogether. Avoid the junk, and you'll grow healthy both physically and spiritually. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.